All right, we are back for matchup number 5 today. We have Mother to Son by Langston Hughes versus Father and Son by Cat Stevens. So we are going to start with Mother to Son. And Langston Hughes was an African American poet. And I'm actually going to play another version, another reading of this poem, just because. Please ignore the bell there. Just because there is this poem is written with dialect, which is where it is written the way a character would speak. So I can envision that Langston Hughes wrote this poem in the dialect of what his mother, for instance, would sound like. So I'm going to play the version read by Viola Davis because it just gives so much more effect to the poem when it's read in that dialogue and that dialect as opposed to mine. So I'm going to play her version as we follow along.
Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time I's been a-climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you set down on the steps 'cause you find it's kinda hard. Don't you fall now, for I's is still going, honey. I's is still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
Pause that. So as you can see, that just the difference in her dialect versus mine just gives the poem a whole different effect. So I wanted you to hear that, her reading, her version of it. So we have, like I said, we have dialect that's happening here. So Hughes wrote it in the way that his mother or someone like his mother would speak it. And then we have an extended metaphor going on here. So that is a comparison that is continued throughout the poem. And that comparison is life to a crystal staircase. In other words, her life has not been a crystal staircase, but rather a staircase that's had tacks and splinters and boards torn up. Places with no carpet on the floor, bare. However, she just keeps climbing. She keeps going in this life. And she finds places to rest, landings, where she can sit and rest for a while. But then she keeps climbing. She's turning corners. Sometimes she's in the dark. She doesn't know what to do. There's no light. But she doesn't stop. And so she's telling her son, don't you back down. Don't you sit down on the steps when it gets difficult. Don't give up. Keep going, because I'm still going. I'm still climbing, even though life hasn't been a crystal staircase. Okay, next up, I thought it would be a nice pairing to pair Hughes's Mother to Son to another song, in this instance, Father and Son by Cat Stevens. So I actually really like this version of the lyrics that I found, which when I listened to this song, I didn't really realize that it was from two perspectives. Maybe you did and you paid more attention than I did. But I like that this version has who's speaking, the father and the son, because that just really adds to the overall message. Like, it's a back and forth, and I didn't really catch that when I first listened to the song. So the father. It's not time to make a change. Just relax. Take it easy. You're still young. That's your fault. There's so much you have to know. Find a girl, settle down. If you want, you can marry. Look at me. I am old, but I'm happy. I was once like you are now, and I know that it's not easy to be calm when you found something going on. But take your time. Think a lot. Why, think of everything you've got, for you will still be here tomorrow, but your dreams may not. Then the son responds, how can I try to explain? 'Cause when I do, he turns away again. It's always been the same old story. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go. It's not time to make a change. Away, away, away. Just sit down. Take it slowly. You're still young. That's your fault. I know. There's so much you have to go through. I have to make this decision. Find a girl, settle down, alone. If you want, you can marry. Look at me. No, I'm old, but I'm happy. All the times that I've cried, decision, 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 keeping all the things I knew inside. It's hard. Why must? But it's harder to ignore it. You go and make this decision. If they were right, I'd agree. Alone? But it's them, they know, not me. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have to go. So this one is, I just really like the back and forth between the father and the son. The father who is wise and understands the world, and a boy who wants to figure things out for himself and find his own way in the world, and doesn't think his father knows what's best for him, that he knows what's best for himself, and just the back and forth. It's a really beautiful song. So I would encourage you to go listen to this song as well. And maybe, unlike me, that you will catch on that it's a back and forth. I just always heard it from the father's perspective. So I like how this was written out as more of a conversation, back and forth. So, and then make sure you vote on Mother to Son by Langston Hughes or Father and Son by Cat Stevens.